These are in listen-only mode.
All right, just want to welcome everybody to the KevCAM Night School for SolidCAM. I'll wait for a couple more people to pile in here, and just some housekeeping on the GoToWebinar. Over on the control panel, there is a spot for questions, and what we do is we, for those of you that are in the classes often, this might be a repeat for you, but in that GoToMeeting or the webinar panel, there was a question spot. So if you guys have a question, please feel free to type it in there. And actually tonight we have Terry Hurley, and he is our Southwest account manager, and he'll be helping me out tonight, answer some questions, and any sales questions that pop up or any technical questions, he'll help me. And if there is a question there that he can't answer, we'll address it right in the GoToMeeting or in the right in the class for you guys. So tonight, we're not going to be going over anything too interesting and fun, but kind of going over the ins and outs of the SolidCAM settings. So anything to do with the SolidCAM settings, we'll be covering that tonight. And like I said, if you guys have questions, definitely please hit me up. And definitely want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your night. I know if you guys are over on the East Coast, it's getting pretty late time zone, or if you're on the West Coast in California like Terry, it's still daylight. So, but we'll get the ball rolling here. What we'll do is, first things first, is what I want to do for everybody is I'm going to give you my email address. For those of you that have, like I said, been in the class before, you guys already have it. But what I want to do is, for this KevCAM Night School, really want your guys' ideas on something that you would like to see in the KevCAM Night class, or something that you would like to see in there, so that we can, better your skills as a programmer and, definitely benefit from the class from this. So what I did is I just put my email address into the GoToWebinar chat area. If you guys want, you guys can copy that out and send me an email. Anything at all related to the KevCAM class or technical support also. Another thing I want to show you guys is, if I'm going through this stuff and maybe I went a little too fast and you guys want to review the video, definitely go to my YouTube channel, and I will have tonight's class uploaded around 1 o'clock in the morning Central Time. So you guys can kind of go through, and any classes that you guys wanted to see before that you guys missed out on, they are all here for you guys. So last week we went over workflow and the difference between internal and external, using fixtures, and have a whole slew of different videos in here for you guys to watch. And so definitely subscribe to that channel, and I will put that YouTube link in there so you guys don't actually have to search for it. Let me just copy this out here, and I will also put that into the GoToMeeting chat. There's the YouTube channel right there for everybody. First things first, can everybody see my screen? Just want to, if just one person or a couple of guys can say yes in the questions pane, that would be excellent. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Sean. Thanks, James. Perfect. All right. So let's get going on the settings, and what we'll do is we'll kind of go over the global settings. We're going to go over local settings, how different settings affect the CAM part, and we'll actually open up a CAM part for you guys and show you the difference, kind of like with the synchronization and stuff like that. So with that being said, let's get our SolidCAM open. Now, for those of you that don't know how to get to your SolidCAM settings, in SolidWorks 2016, just go to your tools, SolidCAM, and SolidCAM settings. And that's going to open up your global settings. Now this is going to be global for all of your parts. So everything in here is going to pertain to any new project that you create. Now, if you guys make a change in here and you want to open up a part that you did existing, what you want to do is go and change your local settings. And I'll get into that real shortly here. But like I said, what we'll do here is we'll kind of go through the settings, what they all mean for you guys. There's a lot in here. It might look a little bit, it looks like a lot here, but it's really not that bad. So first things first I want to go over is saving out your settings. If you guys are running on multiple computers, instead of having to change all your settings for each individual computer, what you can do is come down here and you can click Save Settings into a file. So by doing this, you have two different options. One is going to write to the registry, and one is going to do a registry hive file. Really doesn't matter which one you pick. If your IT department has you really locked down, maybe you're not an administrator, I would use the registry hive files. Seems like for some reason that one, they both write to the registry, but this one doesn't. It's not as invasive. So if you don't have permissions, you'll be able to still save out those files. So what we can do is we'll just save it out on the desktop here. And so now what I can do is let me close this down, and you'll see I have my SolidCAM settings right here. So now you can actually save this to the network or save it to somewhere that you'll remember. And that way, if something ever happens, you always have a backup once you get everything set. Or if you move to a new version and maybe some of the stuff didn't carry over to that new version, this is a great place to use it as a backup. So let me get back in the settings here. And so what we're going to do is, now if you were to import those settings in there, all you have to do is come to the next button over and browse to where those settings are. So I can come here and let me change it to and there is our settings are, let's see, where are they? Terry, where did I put them? Let's see, oh, right here, SolidCAM settings. So then I can just click on that and open it, and it's going to revert all my settings through all the pages to what I saved it to. So real nice feature for you guys that are working on multiple different computers and that sort of thing. So now the next button over is going to just reset this page. So what it will do is it will actually, let's say you browse to some location and you just want it back to what the default was, you can just revert back just that single page. Or if you just have messed up all the settings and something got completely haywire, you can reset all the pages by clicking this button right here. So real nice features, and like I said, it's kind of set up for using multiple computers, so you don't have to keep changing these settings over per computer for you guys. So with that being said, we'll go over the directories and what everything's looking for. So like I said before in my other night classes that we've done, definitely take advantage of the question mark. This question mark is going to pop up in your settings. It's going to pop up in your operations, anything that you can think of. So if you guys have a question, you're just not sure and you don't want to listen to me talk and blabble on through the YouTube video, you can just click the question mark here and just click on some, and it's going to take you right to a help file of what it's actually looking for. So user directory files for system edition files, all that stuff here. So what we're going to do here is at the top, this is where your SolidCAM, when you say SolidCAM open, this is where it's going to be browsing to. This is also going to be like a default save location. Now, last week when we talked about the workflow, you guys can pick where you guys want to save stuff. You can also uncheck it and save it to this directory too. So this is where you're going to keep all your main parts. Maybe you just want to go into the sample files, but basically what we're looking at right here is when you hit SolidCAM open, where is that going to browse to? Now, as we go farther down here, user directory for system additional files. Now this is going to be based off if you guys are working in inch or metric. So if you guys are working in inch, it's going to go to, under default, it's going to go to C, user, public documents, SolidCAM, and well, let's just find out. I can't remember what it is now. So let's go to C, user, public documents, SolidCAM, and then whatever version that you're working with. So SolidCAM 2015, and then it's going to be under the tables. and inside here it's going to be inch. And like I said, if you guys are working with metric, it's going to be pointed to the metric. You guys are going to have a lot more options in here if you're using inch versus metric, just because the US team has put a lot of tools in here. We have different holders that that our tech team has put together for you guys. So like we have the SolidCAM master tools for aluminum. This is where all your tool holders are going to go. This is where all your shape tools are going to go. Basically, a lot of your programming stuff is going to go right inside here. So like your whole wizard process, STL holders, all your different templates that you guys create, process template and just standard templates are all going to be in here. So everything that you can think of pretty much is going to be piled into this folder for you guys. And like I said, this right here is going to be default to this location. Now, let's just pretend as if you guys are working on a server. Myself, I came from a pretty large programming company, and we had multiple different programmers. So what we did is we put all this stuff on the server. Now, if you guys are worried about server speed, it doesn't matter as long as you're working in compressed mode, because everything is saved just right to the C drive for you guys, and then when it's done being saved and you're done working on it, it's actually zipping the part back up and putting it on the server. So you guys don't have to worry about server speeds. So what you guys would want to do is put this on the server where everybody can see it, and then you guys can be pulling from the same tool libraries, the same feeds and speeds, the same post processor, all that same stuff for you guys that are working on a network or multiple different computers on a network and that sort of thing. So if you're not, definitely you can leave it where it is. You can put it wherever you want. Just remember where it goes. Now, with that being said, is every time you update to a newer version, what you want to do is update. This is going to be the default area that it's going to update right here under your SolidCAM 2015. But if you guys are saving on the server, make sure to copy out that SolidCAM 2015 folder and then put that on the server and just replace it, because what we do is we add a lot of files into the table. So, about a year ago, we added in a bunch of these different tool libraries, and if there was an issue with one of these tool libraries, that's where it's going to get updated. So if you guys are working on a new version and something didn't get fixed with pertaining to that inch folder, it's because it never got copied over onto your server. And hopefully that really makes sense. I see we do have a question here. Ronnie, idea offer. Oh, perfect. Ronnie, send me an email on that so I can get that put in there. Ronnie had a good idea for another KevCAM class here, so definitely, Ronnie, please.
Yeah,
go ahead, Terry.
Sorry, Kevin. And that's the thing we really encourage is ideas like that of things that you want to see in the class. Doing a complete part is a more advanced, but it's definitely something Kevin wants to do. As a matter of fact, Kevin and I have been talking about putting together some other classes and really doing some certification and stuff. So you might see some expanding on this training.
Yeah, there's
make sure our customers are getting trained.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff coming up. Me and Terry kind of had a little meeting today about it, and I can't quite spill the beans yet, but there's some pretty cool stuff coming, so I'm pretty excited about that. So.
Yeah, I think I am too. I think it's going to be great. But that is a great idea, Ronnie, and definitely we'll look into putting that in a future class.
Yeah, and like I said, Ronnie, shoot me an email on that. I know you got my email address, so. All right, so let's keep going here. So that kind of is the table's inch area. Now, the one right underneath it is the thread milling standard, and that's just when you guys pick a thread mill. For those of you that don't know, what you do is you go in there and you guys have a chart. And in that chart, you guys can pick your 1024, your quarter 20. Let's just open it up here and I'll show you. Let's see. And we'll just go to our tool library and edit one real quick just so I can show you guys what I'm talking about here. So when you guys are doing a thread mill, see how we have a full list of all different, you got British pipe taps, different pipe taps. You can go to the user. You got all your different pitches. All these different charts are pulling off of that Excel sheet that are in there. Let's see, we'll say no, don't save. So anything to do with the thread milling is going to be pulling from that location. That location can also be put on the server. And I mean, I'm not just saying this just for a few of these. All of these settings can be put on the server except for one, and I'll let you guys know which one that can not be put on the server, and I'll explain why. Now your iMachining database, where, and that's going to be in your tables or your tables folder. So like I said, if you guys want, you guys can copy this whole folder out right here and put it on the server if you guys are working on the server. So if you just come right here, do a copy, copy it out and then paste it onto the server where you want. So kind of nice, we kind of kept it as much grouped together. Now if you guys are, like I said, working with metric, this is going to go to the metric area of the iDatabase. So all right, so let's get to the next screen, the units. Pretty basic, inch or metric. If you guys switch this back and forth, obviously then these numbers are going to change. Now the fillet size for last cut. The fillet size for last cut, there's an option in there when you guys are using a profile. So when you guys are doing a sharp corner on a profile, it actually doesn't do a sharp corner. There's going to be a little radius there. So what we're doing here is we're telling it that the external, the max radius it's going to be is 10 thou unless you specify otherwise. I got a little screenshot kind of showing you guys what it's kind of doing here. So like I said, we got nice sharp corners here, but if you guys actually get down with a microscope, obviously there's going to be just a small little radius there, and you can adjust that radius size by going to your SolidCAM settings for the fillet for last cut. And the reason why we put those arcs in there is just so your machine runs much smoother. You don't get the jerkiness of the machine. And sometimes we do have cases that we want a real sharp corner. So you guys obviously don't have to pick that option. But the max that if I did turn it on is going to be a 10 thou radius for me. Rounding is pretty self-explanatory. How many decimal places do you round out to? Round out to. The higher you do make this, it is going to increase the calculation time. You probably won't even notice it, but it will increase it just by a split second. So because it just has to round that much more digits out. Now the default CNC controller. This is your post processor. Now for those who don't know what post processor is what converts your CAD and your CAM into actual G-code to run in your machine. So right here, it's looking at what post files or where the post files are located. Now, like I said before, this is going to be stored under default under your public document, SolidCAM 2015 GPP tool. Now, for those of you that look in here and be like, man, there is just way too much in here. I only need one machine or maybe two machines. Definitely, please feel free to take all these out, just make a separate folder in here, and what we can do is, just say unused post. So, use, and you can click and drag all these unused posts in there and just leave the one that you guys use or maybe the two that you guys use on most common. So when you guys start a new CAM project, you guys don't have to go through that huge long list of post processors in there just to find the one for your machine. Each post processor should be custom to your particular shop, and it should have a name by it. But like I said, there's no need for you guys to have to search through all these different post processors in here. So just take everything out of here, paste it in here, so that way you have it as a backup. But just keep your standard machine that you actually have on the shop floor right here. So. And then this is going to be the default, post processor. So I have mine set up for the Haas SS post processor, which is going to basically work for any Haas machine in here. So real nice feature to have in there. And like I said, definitely cut whatever you guys don't have out, so it makes it easier and faster, more productive for you guys as a user. And same thing for the turning, mill turn, and if you guys are using the old SolidCAM wire here, you can just select the default post processors. All right, G-code. We did kind of go over this a little bit in some of the other classes, but we'll definitely touch on it again. Where do you guys want the G-code to be saved? So right now I have it being saved in the CAM part directory, and that's going to be in my temporary folders. But if you guys want to do it in a directory near it, you can do that. So it will have your, let's say we start a new SolidWorks project. I told it to save the SolidCAM project right alongside the SolidWorks. So you'll have your SolidCAM, or your SolidWorks, and then you'll have your SolidCAM, and then you'll have your G-code right underneath that in that same location. If you wanted to, you can create a subfolder in there, and you could just say G-code for or what's there, or you can just say whatever you guys want that subfolder to be. And what it will do is, for that case, what we'll have is your SolidWorks, your SolidCAM, and then that folder with your G-code in there. So now what you can also do is save the G-code according to the VMID file. Inside the VMID file, there's a spot to specify a location, or you can save it where the post files are. Honestly, guys, I've never used this one, but we want the option there for you guys. Now, let's say you guys want to produce G-code and you want the G-code to go all in just one folder and one folder only. And that's going to be this option right here. So you can browse to where that location is, and like I said before, you can create subfolders for the split G-code. You can create subfolders for each CAM part. So as you guys are CAMing all these different parts out, it will have folders. So you'll have your G-code folder. Then inside that G-code folder is going to be subfolders in there per your CAM parts. So it just gives you guys more options to where do you want to save your G-code. So and then you guys can do additional control of G-code. You can custom, do file names, use split names as G-code for the file name. You can use G-code generation for the entire CAM part. So if I want, I can erase all previous G-code files and replace it with that one. And that's if you're running inside the G-code directory. G-code generation for separate operations, you can do the same thing. Now, a lot of you guys might have Tsimko edit. You guys might have edit NC. Trying to think of some of the other DNC software out there that you guys can use. So default is going to go to Notepad, but I also do have Tsimko edit here, so I can just say anytime I produce any G-code, it's automatically going to open up in my Tsimko edit, which is a real nice feature because I can do backplotter inside my Tsimko edit and all that stuff. Now, if you guys want, we do have a little bit of partnership with Edit NC, and that can be purchased through you guys as account manager, and that's going to do the exact same thing as what the Tsimko edit does. And let's just do a G-code right now. And I'll show you kind of what it looks like so you guys get a preview. Let's just do a stock. And let's just get it started. So if I go to G-code this out now, so now it automatically, instead of opening in Notepad for you guys, it opened up in the Tsimko edit executable. Like I said, you can do this with Edit NC, any other ones. And the nice thing about this is I can come in here and click, and it's going to tell me what it's doing. You can do backplot, and with this backplotter, it's only reading the G-code. You can do CNC transfers that way. You guys can drip feed into your machine with the Edit NC. So a lot of different options there. So if you guys want to see something other than just standard Notepad, there is that option there for you guys. Get out of this part here. Oops. And let's get back to our settings. All right. So under the G-code. So that kind of covers everything. You guys can also do multiple document editors. So maybe if you guys have a seat of Tsimko edit, you guys have a seat of Edit NC, and you want to have them pop up at the exact same time, you can do the multiple document editor also. G-code simulators. This is more geared towards kind of 5-axis stuff, but if you guys are running VeriCut or have a CETA VeriCut or IMS Verify or NC View, these are all going to be external programs that you guys purchase, and it's basically going to read your G-code and do the backplot for you. Like Tsimko Edit is a very cheap, or Edit NC is a very cheap alternative. VeriCut is going to show you your full machines. It's going to be basically like full machine sim for you guys, and same thing with all these other editors. So, and basically it's going to be the same thing as your G-code, so you just browse to where the executable is. So, CAM part. Now, we went over this last week with the workflow, so I apologize for anybody who has to listen to this again, but in here is basically when you start a new CAM project, where do you want your stuff to be saved? So if you want it to be internal or external, and if you guys aren't sure what the difference is, definitely please watch my last week's video because we went through this in great detail. You guys can have it automatically set up so it's automatically going to go to external right away. And what I mean by that is if I just pull up a recent part, and this is the part we're actually going to be working on today. If we go to, SolidCAM, new milling, this is the screen that it's pulling up. Now, if you guys always are saving the same directory, you guys are always doing external, always saving next to the part in inch, and you're not planning on changing that, that's what this is basically meant for right here. Is if we go to our CAM part, you can auto select it so it's automatically going to go there without you having to click the OK button every time. I think if you do a fresh install, it automatically defaults on, but I can't remember. It's been such a while since I've done a new install on this machine here. But so farther down, create parts in compress mode. And like I said, guys, if I'm kind of talking over your head here on some of this stuff, definitely watch last week's video. We went through a lot of this here. So, so now breaking parts for external CAD reference. So if we start a new CAM project on, like, let's say on this part, it's physically linked to that SolidWorks model. Now, if you guys want to break that reference, you're not going to get the automatic updates inside SolidCAM. If you guys make a change to the original, SolidCAM won't recognize it because you basically broke the link for it. So that there is the option there for that, though. So now what you can do also is you can auto open up any internal CAM project. So with internal, it's internal to the SolidWorks file, but it also prompts you for a screen that pops up asking you if you want to automatically open up the CAM. And basically that's what it is here. So if you guys did have a SolidWorks part and the only thing you want to do is always open up the CAM side of it when you're using internal, you can just checkbox that. Convert non-compressed CAM parts into compress mode. Pretty self-explanatory there. Like I said, we went over this last week, so definitely check this out. Now, I was telling you guys can save all these different areas onto the server except for one. This is the one that you do not want to change. And I really want to emphasize, do not move this to a different location. Keep this where the default location is. If it's in a different location, we're going to get a lot of lag going on with saving. We might get some crashing going on because of permission issues. So please, please, please definitely keep this in the default location. This is basically when you start a new CAM project up in compress mode, it's saving it to the C drive, root drive of your computer versus saving it on the server. So every time you click Save and Calculate, it doesn't have to ping back to the server, come back to your computer. It's just staying right on your local computer. Then when you go to close out of that part, it's going to zip everything up correctly and then save it onto the server for you. So like I said, please do not, just keep that one default as much as possible. Compression factor. Basically, when we do a compressed part, it's basically just doing a zip folder. Like I said, we kind of talked about that last week, and with any zip file, you always have the option to do faster compression, that sort of thing. So here's a different scale. In all the years I've been using SolidCAM, I've never even touched this, so but definitely if you guys like to play around with your zip files, you can speed it up a little bit faster playing around with the slider here. Automatic CAM part definition. This is an area that if you are, you know, a couple days old in SolidCAM or more, I would recommend unchecking everything in here except for target. I'm not a huge fan of the automatic stuff. I like to put my coordinate system where I tell it. I don't want the system to put it where it thinks it should go, that sort of thing. So I really like the control that I have inside SolidCAM, but if you do like the automatic stuff, with the CoordSys Manager, it's going to base it off of how you created your SolidWorks part. For a lot of you guys are getting parts from customers, so we don't know where they originally created on the front plane, you know, left side plane, all that stuff. So if they did it properly, then you can use the automatic coordinate system, and you can use the automatic stuff here. But, you know, like I said, a lot of times you're getting parts from customers, you don't know where the original origin point is. So I like to kind of set that off. And you guys can do that for milling, turning, mill turn, wire, so all that stuff. And like I said, you can use the default CNC controller, so automatically it's going to pull that one up. But since it's already set as your default CNC controller, it's going to automatically pull that one up anyways. So it's just kind of a double check there. The definition of target. What that's going to do is it basically just defining your SolidWorks model, and it's going to facet it for you. So we're going to, you know, take that 3D model, and when you guys, we obviously need a target inside SolidCAM, and it's automatically going to find that for you. And I personally like to have that one on just because it's just my SolidWorks model. Don't have to worry about it, and it's done. CoordSys definition. Okay, so what is the facet tolerance for your CAM part definition? Facet tolerance, for those who don't know what facet is basically your part is made up of a bunch of triangles. And the tighter those triangles are, the better the model is, the more accurate we're going to have the model, all that good stuff. So, but unfortunately, the more triangles we have in there, the more time it takes to do the calculation. So I think default this is actually set at 4 thou, but definitely feel free to tighten that up. I like to have mine a little bit tighter. You're not going to notice any time difference if you guys go from 4 thou to 1 thou, but if you go from 4 thou to a couple millionths out, you might notice just a slight lag in the calculation time. So now when you guys create a coordinate system, what it does is it creates a 3D sketch wireframe temporarily. Basically, so you guys can move that coordinate system around anywhere on that part, and it does, you know, upper level, mid levels, and lower levels all around the part. You guys got points, you guys have lines. So basically high precision surrounding box is kind of what's going on there. Definitely recommend having it on there. It's not going to slow down your system at all if you do have it on there. So creating a planar surface on the lower level. So what it's going to do is just create a planar surface when it finds the absolute lowest part of your part. Never really seen the use for it, but I'm sure there is for some of you guys that are working on some of the different parts. Here is a big question. The tool start level, you know, deltas, clearance level, all that stuff. I have one picture that kind of explains of what's going on, what the difference is between tool start level, clearance level, part upper level, part lower level. And this kind of breaks it down. Let me zoom in here for you guys. And this is also, if you guys hit that little question mark, it's going to bring you to the screen. So your tool is going to wrap it down basically to the clearance level, and then it's going to go into a feed mode once it hits the clearance level down to the upper level. Now, if we have to go down farther, it's obviously going to stay down. So, you know, the smaller you guys make this, so basically I have it set up so it's going to wrap it down to a 1/2 inch above the part, and then it's going to switch into feed mode into 100 thou above the part, and then it's going to start the machining process. If you guys are real confident, like my old job, we prove everything out in our tool room first. What I would do is I would set these at 100 thou or even sometimes 50 thou above the part. Definitely gives you a little bit of a scare factor when you run it in production, but you know, time is money on production, so you guys can set that wherever you want. So CAD chord sys, create a CAD chord sys with every chord system. So what that is saying is when you guys create a CAM part and you put a coordinate system on there, what we've done, I think we added this 2 years ago, is what we do is we actually add a 3D sketch on there. And let me show you, let me close out of this part here, and I'll show you what I mean by that, because it's a little bit hidden in there, just because we want to keep it out of the way for you guys. Oops. I know it's there. Let's see.
While Kevin looks for that, I really encourage any questions, recommendations for other classes. So I encourage you to ask any questions. And also, if any questions and you want to send me an email, the address is jerry.hurley@solidcam.com.
You bet. All right, so we'll throw our...
Good now, Kevin?
You bet. I thought I created this CAM part prior, but I guess I didn't. So we'll just set this up real quick. Okay, so now let's say I want to take a measurement off of my chord sys, but you'll see that I have nothing really to pick off of. I can't find my X. Maybe if I want to make sure my X is parallel with my line here. So what we do is we create a 3D sketch inside SolidWorks for you guys so you guys can actually show that. So if I go to my SolidWorks here, you'll see I actually have my 3D sketch for my Mac 1 and chord sys for my Mac 1. And you guys can show that, but what it does as a default, it just hides it, so it keeps it out of your way for you. But if you guys need to take a measurement off there, definitely just go to your SolidWorks and just do a unsuppress on there, and it will actually show it for you. So real nice. So you guys can get measurements off there. Let me just do a show. And now I have a line, and if I want to do a measurement off there, I can go to my Evaluate tab right here, grab my tape measure, and I can measure to there and get my distance. So that was something that, for you guys that might not know, this is a real helpful for you guys trying to get measurements and all that good stuff. All right, so let's go back to our SolidCAM settings here. Got to get buzzing here. Taking too long, Terry. All right. So we went through. Oh, go ahead.
Interfering with your drinking time.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So that covers your chord sys definition. Stock definition is basically when you guys do a auto box stock, you guys can actually have it set up with default numbers already in there. So maybe you guys always want, with saw cut, you guys always have at least a 50 thou stock just from your saw. So you guys can put that 50 thou in there, maybe just for your X. If you guys are running bar stock, it's coming off the saw and, that whatnot. So, and that's going to be when you say, basically what that is coming in here to our stock, and it's these numbers right here. So instead of having to change these numbers every single time, you guys can actually set up default numbers in there for you.
Kevin, Jeff had a question. Is this available in Inventor?
Yes, it is, Jeff.
Inventor and SolidCAM are basically the exact same product with different interfaces. You can, if you've got SolidWorks, you can use SolidWorks. If you've got Inventor, you can use Inventor. And we actually have customers that use both, where some groups use Inventor and some use SolidWorks.
Yeah, a lot of schools do that too.
Yeah, with one license, and they can use either interface. So you could use it as a SolidWorks or as an Inventor CAM, use an Inventor as your CAD tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Jeff, it answers your question, definitely.
And that kind of brings up a good point with schools too. If you guys know of a local college and they're using some other CAM system, we will provide 100% free to the school full SolidCAM seats, a license, as many as they need for educational version. So kind of like how Autodesk Inventor does it, they give you free seats for educational. We also do the same. So if you guys have a school,
they actually followed us. They weren't doing it until we did it.
Yeah,
and it really is a pretty phenomenal program because not only do they give you the software, but you also get a manual that we had written up so that schools can write up a curriculum You know, we work with the schools whatever we can. And one of the things I want to emphasize is, Kevin mentioned, you know, colleges. Talk to your high schools, because that's where a lot of your machinists are going to come from. And a lot of the high schools don't have programs today, and they're looking for something. And I think this is a great career builder versus, you know, going to work at McDonald's and flipping burgers. That there's, I personally am pushed for several schools. As a matter of fact, I've got a half a dozen or so in Southern California that are teaching it at the high school level.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that goes over the stock definition, and same thing if you guys are doing turning. You know, if you guys always have something more to the right, you know, for your socket, you guys can adapt for that right here. Updated stock. Basically, you'll want to leave it on this one most of the time. Now, if you guys are doing a really extremely complex mold and you guys are doing a lot of solid verify, what you guys want to do is you want to switch this over to special for HSR at HSM. It will actually build the solid model much faster, and we'll really get into depth with this when we go over the simulation class. We'll kind of go over machine sim, host CAD, solid verify, and all that stuff, and different ways to make that solid verify show up much faster. So if you guys have 20 different operations down here, you change that last operation down here, you guys need to update the solid model, needs to update for the stock. So there's different ways for going around that. And like I said, we'll go over this in a different class here, but if you guys are doing really complex molds, definitely stay with the special for HSR, HSM. But for doing just standard stuff, I'm talking like, you know, mold cavities that are, you know, 6 foot by 6 foot, just huge ones. So anything under that, I would just stick with regular. Synchronization. Basically, being since SolidWorks is 100% integrated in with SolidCAM, SolidCAM is going to recognize any changes. And what's actually happening is they're asking the synchronization tolerance. You know, how tight of tolerance do you want that to be? You can take this even out to more decimal places if you would like. So any change that's within that 1/10 area, SolidCAM is going to recognize for you. I kind of messed up here. You'll see how this is grayed out right now. I can't change anything. Well, what's happened here is I actually have a CAM part open. So if I come in here, close out of my SolidCAM settings, or close out of my SolidCAM part, go back to my SolidCAM settings here, and go down to the synchronization, you'll see that it's ungrayed out. So if you guys are ever in here trying to make changes inside here and it's grayed out, please let me know, and please just close down that part and it will become ungrayed for you. Now with the synchronization, what's happening here is basically it's kind of set in automatic mode. Definitely, for the most part, this is a real nice feature. It's going to automatically recognize all the stuff for you. But what I want to do is I'm going to do check synchronization on user demand. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'll show you with this particular part here. Let's go to my recent parts here. And what happens there is if I come in here and let's just do a quick HSS operation. But let's pretend that, you know, instead of, you know, in HSS there is an option to skip over holes, but let's just say you guys have HSS Express, so you just have linear. You don't get a lot of options in your linking just to do, you know, follow surface. So what I can do in here is I can come in here, and if it's set to user demand, I can come over to my part and actually hide those holes or suppress them and come over here. Oh, see, when I set up this part, here, let's start over here. I didn't set it up on user demand. Let's go to recents here, and we'll do our tools, SolidCAM, new milling. Throw our cord sys on there.
And Ronnie had another question there, Kevin.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Get our box set up. So now you'll see I got it set to user demand. Now on a particular part, let's say you guys decided to make the changes, you can change it in the settings right here. And I'll go over that shortly. But let's say you guys, like I said, you want to just hide that last cut extrude. I can come over here. Nothing's going to change. You'll see I have no stoplights popping up, anything here. And now I can come in here and, you know, add my HSS. You know, we can just do morph between boundary curves, geometry, that surface, and we'll do a start of up here. And I want to do an end down here. Hit the green check mark, and we'll just grab a tool and be done. Add a ball, and we'll say it's a 1/2 inch. So you'll see that it doesn't even see those holes there. And I can come back, you know, and, you know, if I have to drill those holes later on, now I can come in here and do unsuppress, and nothing's going to change with my tool path. Nothing's going to show that I have stoplights or anything like that. You know, so there's a couple different advantages of having that. Now, if I come up here and maybe I want to synchronize it, I can come up here and do check synchronization manually, and it will do that. So that's kind of the difference of, you know, what's going on between automatic and manual, and they both have their benefits over each other. But like I said, it all depends on personal preference for you guys. If you guys want it done automatically, or if you guys want to find it yourself, you can always click on that check synchronization for you guys, and then it will populate and say, you know, you'll have the little stoplight saying if you know, needing to synchronize or not. Okay, synchronization tolerance for high tolerance parts is 1/10. Good enough? Absolutely. So you got to remember, you know, 1/10 is extremely small. A lot of times the default number is, I think they actually said another 0 in here, and it will say like 1 point dash E5, and that's basically saying, you know, it's 4 or 5 zeros with a 1. So if you guys want, you know, like I said, make this as tight as you want. It's not going to affect your calculation times or anything like that, Ronnie. So yeah, like you were saying, yours was 4E7. That's what it's going to be set as default. Definitely leave it at that. Or if you want to loosen it up a little bit more, you definitely can. But you know, like the default settings are, you know, pretty good right there. And you shouldn't really have to change it. And like I said, when it says 4E7, you know, we're basically saying there's 7 zeros and then a 4. So asked to use find original model. That's if you guys, if it lost the link to the original SolidWorks model, and it's going to pop up and saying it can't find the original model. Would you like to find it? Yes or no. If you click no, what it will do is you can still open up that CAM project, but you kind of break the associativity of what's going on there. Checking synchronization after replacing model. You know, it's basically going to, if you do a change model reference, it's automatically going to synchronize all that stuff for you with that being checked. So down here, real important, if you guys use configurations, Jeff, this doesn't really pertain to you because I know you guys don't have different configurations inside Autodesk Inventor, but for their SolidWorks users in here, synchronization is going to be real critical here. If you guys are working with a lot of configurations, you can have the option to keep geometry associated with parent configuration, which is going to be the original, or you can do what's based on the current configuration, so what the configuration is actually showing. You guys do have the full option to change this inside of your CAM project too. So let's say you guys get the CAM project rolling, you decide you forgot to maybe switch it over or whatnot, and you guys are running 10 different configurations in there, you can change that on your local settings, and we'll go over those local settings real quickly here. Clean up CAM part. When you're closing out the CAM part, do you want to remove any unused GCode files, remove any unused updated stock files? All that stuff will be kind of cleaned up out of there for you. If you want, you can do just certain ones, or you can do select all, and it's going to remove anything that was unused in there, including tools and whatnot. So toolpath simulation, the colors, you know, you guys can change the colors how you want. So your rapids at red, your feeding is going to be your green. The 1, 2, and 3, I'm not sure what that's all pertaining to. I guess I've never gotten deep into the 1, 2, 3, but the most that you guys are going to use is your rapid and feed levels. You guys can change these colors. You can customize them as much as you want. This is your arc approximation is going to show how tight a tolerance of your arcs inside of your Solid Verify and HostCAD. If you want Solid Verify to the current model view, so let's say you have your part orientated, you know, you're deep down in that mold and you want to keep it in that same spot when it does the Solid Verify, that's what that checkbox is going to do there for you. Target loading with CAM part, with CAD part tolerances. We'll go over this a little bit when we get over the simulation. Default is with CAM part tolerances. I recommend staying with that, but like I said, once we get into those really big molds, we're going to actually do a don't load, and stuff will load up much faster. You'll still get the same accuracy, but you're not going to see the original model inside there. Now, if I click on the tab right here, the default mode for my simulation is always going to be HostCAD. I like that to be there because if you guys have a Solid Verify and you guys just want to check something, it's going to have to update all that Solid Verification. And if you just want to see a quick wireframe, you can just do that. Now, you guys will notice with the newer versions is if you come in there and do a calculate, it's automatically going to show the toolpath for you on the little check boxes on the left-hand side of your operation. If you guys don't want that, definitely uncheck all these right here. And that's going to, you know, basically just show the wireframe when you guys click the little checkbox on the left-hand side. Your active simulation modes, me personally, I only use Solid Verify and HostCAD. So what I'm going to do is turn off all these except for my Solid Verify and my HostCAD right here. And that way, you know, you don't have all those different boxes popping up for you guys. It's a little bit cleaner look. You know, if you guys have MachineSim, you can definitely turn on MachineSim, and that's going, when you guys do a verification, that's going to be all the different tabs that pop up, or all the different options for you guys to pop up. So that's toolpath simulation. Machine simulation, basically where is your machine sim going? When you guys purchase MachineSim, we send you files, and that's basically where those files are going to go. And you know, Solid Verify, obviously you want that on with the CAM tolerances, or you can do with the CAD tolerance of the SolidWorks model. You can do home reference positions in there. I know a lot of you guys don't have MachineSim, but you know, different previews that you can have automatically pop up, so you can do in setup, in machine control operation, or in machine editor. You know, different collision controls, different tolerances, and layouts of that MachineSim for you guys. And a lot of times what we'll do is if you guys purchase MachineSim, all this will be already set up for you guys, because when we supply you with the MachineSim, we'll go through and change these settings around for what's going to best fit for you guys. Defaults, not much in here, but you guys can do the gouge check on calculation for 2.5D. If it was my personal opinion, I would not do that, just because it's going to show all these different gouges, because it's all based off of the tolerance of your calculation. So if you have a calculation in there of, you know, 4 thou, it's going to show it gouging left and right in there. If you're just curious on a particular operation, you guys can actually turn this on in your miscellaneous parameter list of your, like doing profile or face mill. But technically, being since like if we're doing a face mill, we're face milling off all that material up to that SolidWorks part, we're going to have a gouge on there, because it's actually touching or just shaving that top layer off. So, you know, like I said, it's more of a pain than anything, so I'd recommend just leaving that off. Update turning material boundaries in the milling operation. You know, you can have that checked on. Basically, just, you know, updating the boundary as it goes. So in your turning operation or mill turn. Geometry. How tight a tolerance do you guys want your spline to be? Spline approximation. These all default numbers are very good numbers. I've never had to change these. The only thing, well, actually I shouldn't say that. The only thing I've ever had to change is the gap maximum. And this is something that you can actually, is when you guys pick a chain, when we went over the chaining KevCAM class, I kind of went over the difference between the gap minimum, gap maximum. You can actually change that inside there also. So in your spline approximation might be the 1E-005, or Ronnie, like what you had, the 4E7. it's just a spline approximation of what's going on there. This is really nice to have, the auto depth. So when you guys pick a chain, you'll notice that your levels for your lower level is automatically going to come up with a lower level. Well, that's based off of where you guys pick that chain. So if you guys pick that chain at the bottom, it's going to automatically pick up that lower level for you. And if you don't like that option, you can just uncheck it right here. Start positions, we kind of went over this when we did chaining also. Start position is if you're doing a profile and you want to do a shift of 25% of all the time, or you can do a shift of just a certain percentage there. So you also have the option inside of the technology to change this also. So this is just kind of a default number for you guys. And same thing with here, just default names. If you guys want to see the profile labeled as something other than contour when you create it, or something other than slot, or something other than WA for working area, you guys can come in here and change the names. So when if you guys just leave the default names when you do a profile operation, it will just say contour. Or if you guys want to switch it over to do a profile, you do a standard profile option, it's going to say profile _ tool number 2 or whatnot for you guys. Spin and feed. This is the default numbers when you create a new tool. My recommendation is keep these low. I don't know, for some reason I have these fast right now, but keep these low. And the only reason why I say that is if you guys forget to put a feed and speed in there, that baby's rapiding down. If you guys have a fast number like I have in here, you're at the machine and it's doing something wrong, or you forgot to put the correct feed rate in there, instead of buzzing through there at 100 inches a minute, you guys can slow that down to, maybe 2 inches a minute. So that way it gives you a little bit of safer, barrier for you guys. And like I said, same thing with turning tools, if you want inches per minute, inches per rev, all that stuff for your spin over here. And this is all linked right to all of your standard feeds and speeds. So colors, not much in here, but you guys can change the different colors of your cord sys, your picking heights, showing different chains, all that stuff. You can, like I said, default, standard colors, different backgrounds for you guys. So when it picks something, it's going to pick it as green. Maybe you guys, when you guys pick your levels, it shows up red. A lot of people get a little confused. I don't know why sometimes it defaults to red, but that's right here. So when you guys are picking your levels, I would switch this over to green, because green means good to go. Like I said, some people in tech support, when we get our calls, they say, whoa, red, that's bad, right? Well, no, it's not bad. It's just the wrong color was picked. So like I said, you guys can change that to whatever you want there for you. All right, cam tree. How do you want your cam tree to look? Maybe you guys just want to show the tool in the tree. You got cord sys in the tree. I like to break mine out, so every cord sys I have, I separate it out. But you guys have multiple different options in here on how you guys want to see it. Same thing with the fonts and colors. You guys do have the option to switch this around per cam part that you guys do also. So maybe if you guys want to show just by, going by tool position or that stuff, that can all be changed in there. Putting different descriptions in there also, you can do group names, all that good stuff. So this is all to do with your, on the left-hand side when you have all your operations, that has all to do with that right there. Cam messages. These are the little warning messages that pop up. For those of you, some of you guys, it might drive you nuts. For me, it drives me nuts, so I like to uncheck a lot of these. Some of them I still have checked just to make sure, but if you guys are sick of seeing that message and you don't want to have to click the little checkbox where it says don't show this message again, this is where it's going to be for you guys right here. So you can uncheck all these or just have particular ones, and it's, like I said, it's just the warning dialogue that pops up for you guys. Templates. We are going to have a complete class on templates, how to utilize templates, how to make templates your best friend. This is the area you set your default template. So if you guys have a template for face milling, you guys can hit the little checkbox and you guys can change from all the different templates. When you guys do a fresh install, these are all going to be checked. If you guys are an experienced or intermediate user, I would recommend unchecking all these, because what they do is they bring a tool in for you. They're going to bring in the feeds and speeds. You know, tool side, all is going to be set for you. So if you guys like to more of the manual stuff, you want to pick your tool, you want to pick everything, I would just recommend unchecking this. And like I said, we're going to be going over a class just purely on templates and how that can save you guys a ton of time. So this is where the default spots are going to be. And let's go to our tolerances. Probing tolerances in here for you guys that have probe, 3D HSM. Honestly, ever since I've started using SolidCAM, I've never touched any of this in here. The tolerances are set very well. You guys have the tolerance default set when you guys pick your HSS operation. Each operation that you create has the slider bar in there. So you guys, if you guys always want to run it, you know, really tight, you guys can just have it set to default of 2, or you can do it within the operation. Machining process and whole wizard recognition. Basically, where is that stuff being saved? This is constantly being updated. So, like I said, that's going to go to your C user public documents, SolidCAM. If you guys have this on the server, though, make sure you guys, when you guys update a new version, you copy it out of this directory and paste it onto the server. You guys can do perform auto calculation, you know, ask before calculation, ask before updates, just kind of warning messages that pop up for you guys. Tool search, we're not going to even go on this because basically when you guys do a tool search in there, you guys want to search for everything. You don't want to eliminate something just like a shank diameter or something like that. But if you do, you know, you don't care about corner radius when you do a tool search, you can definitely uncheck that tool search for you. Tool tables. Now, with this tool table is very important is you want this going to the exact same location as your user directory up here for your additional files. So you always want to make sure those are pointing to the correct location. So if you, like I said, if you're on the server, Joe has, you know, made a custom tool for you or made a custom tool library for you guys to use, you can't find it. That's because in your tool table right here, it's going to the wrong location. So I just wanted to mention that, and you have the tab, the cam, all the different defaults, and this is basically when you say import a tool library, it's going to default to this library, and same thing for exporting. Now up here, you guys can have an option to, when you guys import a tool library so the tool numbers stay the same. I kind of went over to this section in here with the tool tables, the ins and outs of tool tables and all that stuff. Now I'm getting close on time here. I'm going to start having people snoring. Terry, I'm guessing you fell asleep already too.
Damn, you woke me up, Kevin. No, you're doing great, buddy. You're doing awesome.
No, we'll try to buzz through this as fast as we can, guys. I know we kind of...
lot to cover.
Yep, we got a lot to cover here, so...
And guys, you have tech support. If you have any questions, you know, definitely call tech support. These guys will help you out, or... You know, if you ever want to see a demo or whatever, in particular with my account, just give me a shout, shoot me an email. We can touch you up, show you some things, whatever you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if you don't have Terry as account manager, he'll still hook you up with the right person. So definitely don't feel afraid to email Terry or give him a call. Terry, what's your extension number, by the way?
Well, extension 7, yeah.
Extension 7, okay.
Actually, I have a direct Skype line that I should use. I'll get that number.
Okay. Synchronization, when you're doing your transformations, you can automatically have it synchronize up automatically. Here's the option for it, or you can do it inside. Like I said, I'm more of a, I guess you call it anal guy. I like to do it all stuff manually, so I like to see the changes happen. I don't like the automatic, but if you guys do want it, you have the option right there. Documentation. This is a real critical to this is basically just pointing to where the tool tables, or I'm sorry, not the tool tables, but the tool setup sheet is pointing to. If you guys want, you guys can have a default cover page. So maybe you guys have a, you know, for your operators on the machine, you guys have a checklist that you guys want them to go through first before they set up the machine. You guys can put that on that cover page. So when you guys print off that tool sheet, it automatically prints off that cover sheet, so they, you know, clean out machine, make sure, hone the table down or hone the vices down, all that stuff. You know, you guys, in your printed documentation, you can just use tools only, and your templates for your documentation, you can set this to Excel, document, all that stuff. Dynamic help is basically the question mark inside of the tool setup sheets. Now the tool setup sheets are fully customizable. If you guys want to know how to customize those tool sheets, please shoot me an email and I'll send you the document on how to edit those. And it's basically just using Microsoft Word document, Microsoft Excel, HTML. So quite a few different options there for you guys. It all depends on what you guys have there. So, all right, iron machining. We added a new feature in here, the default material. Real nice. If you guys are always working on aluminum, you guys can pick a default material now. We are actually going to be adding a default machine in here real shortly. So you guys can have a default material so you don't have to pick the material all the time, and you guys coming soon, you guys won't have to pick the machine all the time, so which is really nice. Make it more streamlined for you guys so you guys don't have to waste your time clicking buttons and whatnot. Inside here, you guys will notice with iron machining, or basically 3D iron machining, does not support ball nose end mills. It does work, but you want to always solid verify just to make sure. So if you guys want to be able to use it, just turn this on, and that will allow you guys to pick ball end mills when you guys use 3D iron machining to rough out your part. It's not ideal just because a ball end mill don't have a lot of surface contact area, but if you guys want to use it, just come here and turn it on. I always recommend turning on your advanced cutting conditions. Right here is going to give you the option to turn on turbo mode to up the ante a little bit if you guys want to modify your, maybe it's spitting out 8,000 RPM, but you guys want to change that a little bit. You guys can go into the advanced cutting conditions and change that. And that is going to be under your technology wizard section, and there's going to be a tab at the top. And one will say, technology wizard, and one will say advanced cutting conditions, and that's where you're going to get into turbo mode. And like I said, you can modify the areas in there. Now, do not reset cutting conditions when selecting same tool. Recommend kind of leaving that off, but you guys have the option there. Classical helical cutting conditions. You guys do have the options for these two in the miscellaneous parameters of your iron machining. But if you guys want that default on or off all the time, here's where the default option is for you guys. Same thing with synchronization with operation and database change. It's a little dialog box that pops up for you guys saying, something has changed in the database. You want to update your operation? Yes. Calculations from CAM Manager. All wizard will be update. You guys can check this. It's a nice feature. It kind of updates everything for you automatically instead of having to manually update everything. So nice to have those on. All right, so when we get over to our parallel calculation. Parallel calculation is when you do the save and calculate in parallel. What we're doing there is when you guys do a save and calculate in parallel, it is calculating everything behind the scenes for you guys so you guys can keep continuing working. Now, if you guys have a supercomputer that you guys run for your network or whatnot, you guys can run this on a network computer, and you just put the address of the IP address of that computer, and what it will do is it will do all the hardcore calculations on that supercomputer, getting all that stuff done instantly, and it will kind of calculate stuff behind the scenes for you guys, so you guys can keep working on your parts. And if you guys are running 2D and even some 3D stuff, your saving calculates almost instantaneously. But if you guys get into more of the complex 3D, 5-axis simultaneous, maybe doing some port machining, takes a little bit of time to do the save and calculate. Definitely do the calculation in parallel. Let it calculate behind the scenes for you guys. Basically, this is all to do with the parallel calculation. So you can use default simulations, open, all that stuff, loading target, all that stuff also. So and this is just pertaining to the parallel calculation. Turret synchronization, we'll get over this a little bit more when we go over the mill turn of KevCAM, but you can show different operations when you guys are doing the turret synchronization. For those of you that don't know what turret synchronization is, if you guys have an upper turret on your mill turn and a lower turret on your mill turn, you guys can actually be roughing on the top turret and finishing on the lower turret, and they're just in sync moving together for you guys. So, and you guys can set it to automatically synchronize in Kev Tree to order it, so the two synchronizations will always be there, but this is more for the advanced mill turn. part clearance level or part start level. You guys will get more options if you guys start with the operation start level. You guys will notice when you guys do a new project inside any one of your operations, your levels, you'll see that one of the levels is actually grayed out. If you guys switch this over to operation start level, that will not be grayed out for you. So I'd kind of recommend starting with that, but totally up to you guys. If you guys are been used to the part clearance level, you really don't care about the start level. When we went over these pictures right here, the start level, so you got just a couple different options for you guys. And last but not least, if you guys are using a 3D connection mouse, just make sure that's turned on. This is normally turned on by default. Number of recent in your CAM parts, if you guys want to have a much larger list, you guys can change that number to much larger. Splash screen, big deal. It's just every time we do an update, so you guys get a new pretty picture when you guys start your SolidCAM. Hotkeys, control tab, just like SolidWorks. Interface, definitely use the built-in CAM part definition dialog. Keep that in there. For the Autodesk Inventor guys, you guys aren't going to have this there. So just because it's just how we're integrated in with Inventor. Auto rotate. If you double click on the chord sys, it's automatically going to rotate to that one. Maybe if you're opening an operation, it will automatically auto rotate to that, or in chord sys manager. Auto save, I'm not sure why they even have this in here, because SolidCAM there really is no saving. But let's just say you do a maybe you just did something in there and you didn't hit save and calculate and you just left it and maybe you had a power outage, it will automatically save for you. And that's set for every 10 minutes, and that's going to be default. And then you guys can have browsers for your DNC, so if you're transferring code to your machine and whatnot. And same thing with external programs. If you guys want to, introduce any external programs that come in here, and that's kind of more along the lines of, your Vericut and all that stuff. So, so that's kind of where the external stuff come in there. So with that being said, that is about it for the settings. I know I went a little bit over for you guys. I apologize for that. Thought it'd go a little bit faster here, but like I said, there is a lot of material in here, and this is just to make your life a lot easier. And I totally forgot about to go over the local settings. So let me get to that real quick here. I'm just going to open up a recent part. So a lot of those settings that you've seen in there are also going to be in your local. Now, the difference between local is any part you create new from here on out is going to go off those global settings. Any part that you created is going to have those local settings, but if you guys want to change any of that, you guys can change that right here in your local setting. And then anything you change is just going to stay local to this part and this part only. So, I just definitely want to update that with you guys. So maybe, like I was saying with the synchronization, if you guys just want to do synchronization on user demand, instead of doing automatically, this is the spot you want to do it right here. So. But with that being said, just want to kind of point out, the SolidCAM, tell a friend or referral program. What we do there, and I'll just touch real quick on it here, is basically you guys just tell us, if you guys have a guy down the shop or down the street using CAM and, you're loving SolidCAM, you guys will get $50. But for you guys listening to me blabble on when you guys could be watching, good TV, we are actually going to double that for you. So you guys will get a $100 gift card, no strings attached, sent to you. All we need is just a name and a phone number, and we do the rest. So there's, like I said, no strings attached. Everything is, we'll take care of everything for you. They purchase, you guys get 20% of that sale. So if you get your buddy down the street buys $10,000 worth of software, you get a nice fat check sent to you, no strings attached, cash in hand. So just want to kind of review that. And like I said, if you guys do come across somebody, make sure you guys mention KevCAM, and we'll get that, we'll double that offer for you guys. So
yeah, it's a pretty awesome program. And we've sent out some really huge checks. I mean, over $10,000 for one sale. So there's some good money to be made, and feel free to give me a call if you have any questions on it. but it's a pretty straightforward program. You know, a gift card for a demo and 20% of the sale. You can't beat that. It's a pretty good program.
Absolutely. And if you guys have any questions, you know, on, you know, how much something costs, just shoot me an email and I can get you guys to the correct, I know I worked a lot with you guys, you know, Ronnie and, you know, Jeff and Kevin, you know, you guys all recognize your name, James. You know, so I know you guys, you know, you guys like working, well, hopefully you guys like working with me. So like I said, just if you guys do get that chance, you guys want to see how much something costs or something like that, just shoot me an email and we'll get you pointed to the right guy. Or if you have that, like I said, that refer a friend, just let me know and I'll get you taken care of. So. Like I said, with that being said, this will be uploaded. I just have to do some minor editing to the video and it should be uploaded to my YouTube channel real shortly. Well, I shouldn't say real shortly, but 1 o'clock in the morning will probably be finished uploading. Any questions so far, guys? I don't see anything come up yet. Terry, you got anything else for them?
No, I think we're all set. Great job, Kevin. It was a tough material to cover because you're just basically going over things. So.
Yeah. Yep. So, and like I said, if you guys do have any questions, definitely shoot me an email. Give us a call on the support line. For those who don't know what the support line is.
I'll put my phone number in there. If anyone wants to have any questions, feel free to give me a call.
Yeah. So in the GoToMeeting chat area is Terry's direct number. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, definitely give us a call. For those who don't know, the support number is 866-975-1115 extension 2, and we'll get you guys fixed up. So. All right, with that being said, I'm going to end it here, and you guys have a wonderful night, and thanks again for taking the time out of your night to watch the KevCAM class, and any ideas, let me know. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye-bye.